Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, so today I'm here to bring you the Aquaman movie review, another entertainment video, and really a lot of movies are coming out at the end of the year. This is one of them, and this was a very interesting one because it was a make or break for DC. And to me, this is actually my new favorite DC movie out of the DCEU, or now Worlds of DC. This is, again, after post Dark Knight trilogy, because that is the best it's ever going to be, I think, in DC. But in terms of having all the superheroes, I think he had the best solo movie. Yes, even over Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is still, I think, the most iconic superhero movie that DC has ever had, and the most important, I would say. But I did like this one, especially because of Wonder Woman's ending, and now that they're doing something in part 2 that contradicts that ending as well, it really just, it kind of all wrapped up bad, whereas this one wrapped up good. It ended high, as opposed to ending low. And really, that, I think, is what made this movie better for me. Now, overall, this movie, I would say, is too long. It is 2 hours and 20-something minutes, and it really should have been 2 hours. They could have definitely cut some stuff out of there, which I'll get into what parts I think they could have cut. And a lot of people are complaining about the tonal shift, because 1 minute this movie is a comedy, 1 minute this movie is an action movie, 1 minute this movie is a rom-com, and then the next minute this movie is, you know, a horror movie. But isn't that like Marvel movies? To be honest, like, Marvel movies do encompass all of that, especially more in their collabs. But I think Marvel does a good job of balancing those things while keeping it really good. Now, the more problems I have is the dramatic parts. I actually think they went too dramatic sometimes, and very soap opera-y. I think the lines delivered are probably, the writing was probably the biggest weakness of it, not the directing. Although the directing, again, time should have been edited out more. So overall, Jason Momoa is just the perfect Aquaman. I mean, dude looks awesome. He's awesome. I mean, you know, he's a guy you would want to grab a beer with, hang out at a bar, and, you know, he would pick up all the girls and hopefully, you know, to be your wingman once in a while. But yeah, he looks really cool, and he's so cool in this movie. He's really relatable in terms of, like, you just want to be around him, and he has that charisma, much like a Tony Stark meets Thor. I think that's the best way to kind of picture Aquaman in this movie. Tony Stark meets Thor. Like, he does references and all the jokes, like, and then, but, you know, he's also kind of the dope, in a sense, kind of like Thor is. So that is definitely, I would say, in a lot of ways, a connection. Now, in terms of all the other cast of characters, really you have Mira, which is awesome. She's a very strong female heroine who just does an amazing job. And you could see her, and I think she has probably much the best story arc besides Aquaman, and just how she grows and how she adapts to everything. But Mira has always been one of the coolest and most powerful things, just because of her powers, which you do see fully fleshed out in here, as we've seen in the comics and cartoons. I think it really shows here. Black Manta is probably the part that should have been cut out. To be honest, Black Manta was a cool henchman in this kind of movie, which we know he becomes more than that later. And I really wish, yeah, he could have been cut out, or at least, you know, we could have had the first part of his story, but then we had more scenes with him, and I think those scenes weren't necessary. So it really should have been just like, you know, regular soldiers. You didn't need Black Manta in this, and I think that would have been much better overall if we didn't have Black Manta more in this movie. Save him for the sequel. Black Manta is his most iconic villain, but it really just, I feel, was too much in this one movie. The dad of Mira, overall, the king, the other king, is really good. Dolph Lundgren actually plays a really good role, surprisingly, and he's been killing it this year with Creed 2 and now this. The villain, ultimately, Orn, basically, really, I think, is one of DC's best villains, to be honest. I mean, to be fair, they've had Lex Luthor, they've had, you know, Enchantress, or whatever her name was in Suicide Squad. You have Ares, you know. You haven't really had any good, Steppenwolf. You haven't really had any good villains other than Zod, pretty much. But yeah, I would put him right there with Zod in terms of, like, how he's really kind of always there. He's formidable. He's not someone that Aquaman can just beat like that, which is really awesome. Like, I thought, you know, he was just going to get whooped, but he held his own every step of the way. So that's really awesome. I really like that he wasn't a weakling. And yeah, overall, I think he was really well done, with the exception, again, of the writing. He had some of the cheesiest lines out of the entire movie. Then you have the mom, which played a really good role. So did the dad. Their dynamic was actually really awesome. I actually loved their dynamic between the two. And then, dang, I forgot his name right now, but Green Goblin. No, but basically he always plays a villain in so many movies. Can't think of his name right now. But yeah, he always plays a villain in so many movies, so it was nice to see him put on the hero side. I swear I was there the entire time waiting to see, is he going to turn? Is he going to turn on them? Because he's always the villain. So yeah, overall, really good when it comes to that. So that being said, Aquaman being such a great movie brings us to the biggest problem of DC. And that is the entire cast. We now have a good one by Wonder Woman, a good movie by Wonder Woman, a good movie by Aquaman, and what about the rest? Now we're going to Shazam, which isn't even in this main lineup, and Batman and Superman. As far as we know, Batman is recast and Superman is on the fence. This is what the thing we need is just this. Like, we want a awesome Justice League. DC is so good. I have a Green Lantern wedding ring, for Christ's sake. It's so good. It can be so well done. And that's what we need. We need the awesome ability. You know, they tried with the Trinity. It didn't work out because two of them were poorly written. The Snyderverse is dead. Hopefully now we will never get that again. And he didn't know how to write these superheroes. I'm going to be quite honest. He didn't know. He took specific comics instead of doing the whole comic scene. And it really just was very poorly done. So hopefully we'll get better stories like we did. I mean, DC, if you can, look at your own cartoon series. You can take any of those 2 episodes, were all linked. 2 episodes were always an hour of content, and expand in any one of those stories, and you have a great Justice League movie. It really is just a telling tale that DC is in a crisis. Funny enough, DC has a crisis on its Infinite studio, and it really needs to be fixed. And you know, we're gonna get Shazam next year, which again seems like a step in the right direction, and we have the potential with Wonder Woman 2 and Shazam to really right the ship. But ultimately, you do need to fix Batman and Superman, and whether that be recasting, you know, we've done it before. Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney. So we've done those before. Let's do it right. And let's get this back on track till we get to this one day. Because this is what they should be shooting for. This kind of synergy is what DC needs. And quite frankly, one thing that we've never seen on the silver screen. Overall, Aquaman was a great movie. I think you should go out and see it. I know some people are bad-mouthing it because, again, of the issues that it had. It's too long, and some of the dialogue is very cheesy, and it has different kind of things. I would say as a movie, as a film critic, I would probably rate it bad. But as a fan of comic book movies, it's exactly what I want to see. And hey, they made an Aquaman movie. Good. Alright guys, thank you as always for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me. Thanks again.